Okay, so Florentin, real glad that we could hop on a call. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Good, good. So just a bit of context for obviously people who be watching this. We got in touch via just a Facebook group because I saw you were doing coaching and consulting, and we kind of touched base on the automation stuff. And I was just very keen to see how I could help you and where I could potentially save you time in your business and kind of give you back time to focus on the things you enjoy. So let's just kick it off by kind of telling the people watching what you're involved with, what type of things you're doing, and then from there we'll just go into essentially saying what we worked on together and kind of what the end result was.
Right, cool. Right, so my work as a coach is to teach people how to have out of body experiences, and it's quite it's a very interesting subject, of course, but there's a lot of different puzzle pieces to it, and I'm quite a technological person, so my background is in visual effects and the movie industry, and so I have a lot of technological knowledge, and I wanted to bring that to my audience to help them with this practice. And to do so, there was still a lot of issues in terms of how do I onboard new clients? How do I get new clients in my system in the fastest way without me having to manually add each person and use, put their name in the system and their details. And there was a lot of manual labor every time I had to get a new client. And I almost felt like a burden. Every time I got a new client, instead of feeling happy, I was like, oh, here I go. I have to like register this client into my system that I built, and I have to do all of this and this. And it took me probably like an hour of my time each time I had to put a new client in my system with creating contracts, with getting them in. And so that is what I reached out to you because I was like, okay, is there any way we can automate this? Because this is getting really painful now that I'm getting, more and more clients. Like I have to put in this work every single time. And I knew there was a way to automate it, but I didn't know how to do that myself. I wasn't that technical. That was where my limits of technicality was ending. So, and then there you came in the picture and like, hey, I can help you with this. And I was like, okay, let's let's check this out.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, as you were saying, as you got more and more clients on, it just didn't scale. Like it's almost
Mm.
got to a point you were spending more time of your day just onboarding clients instead of actually being able to work with them. Is that kind of in line with what was going on?
Yeah, a lot of times I had important work that I had to focus on, but instead, all of this onboarding stuff was kind of like in the background, piling up, and eh, yeah, it's just a burden. Like, okay, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to have all of this tasks as a business owner and coach. There's a lot to do, and there's some tasks that are these repetitive tasks that you wish you could just like not do them at all. And of course, you can get assistance for some of the tasks, and I have, but still, there's some tasks that are just uh, that are that should be done by an AI, really.
Mm. Yeah. It's just like not have to think of it, out of sight, out of mind, just works, and it does it every time essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just a bit more context. So your onboarding, which we worked around that same context, but we added onto it, is you're essentially using Google Drive and Google Files and shared folders pretty much for everything, right?
Right. Yeah. So it felt quite intuitive to start there for me to like work with Google Drive because everything is free. You can just move files around. It's quite a simple process, and
Mm.
I started there. And really, in the beginning, it was fine. Like my system was pretty simple in the beginning, but as it grew, as I became more, my system became more advanced, and I wanted more features, and I that's when it started to like kind of like collapse the in terms of like, okay, this is now getting into this big thing that I have to set up every single time for every single student that
Mm.
joins. I have to create all of the folder structures every time a new student will start the program. I had to manually create their folder structure. Type in their name for each folder
Mm.
and move files around and copy files around and but change different things here and there to customize it to their name and to their profile manually every single time. And it was like,
Yeah.
oh. and then also the contracts that I had to create for each and every one of them. And I have different pricing plans and different ways of paying. And so then I have to like create using some templates, of course, but still like add in their name, add in their dates, starting date, ending date, all of these different things. Again, another burden, like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. And now, the system that you set up for me, it's so easy that it's almost feels like I'm cheating. It feels like a joke. It feels like I'm hacking the system because I literally just have to put in the name of the person and their starting date and what program they chose, and then click start, and then the whole thing just generates the contracts, generates the folders, generates the files, all the things that will take me 1 hour now takes me probably less than 1 minute, maybe a couple of seconds just to
Mm.
sign up someone.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's just making my job way more fun. And now I get time to spend on the tasks that actually I want to spend time in, and that I know, as a human, that's the important task, the creative task that I can put my time in, and not these repetitive robotic tasks that, of course, should be done by an AI and not by the human. And this is
yeah,
what's happening now, and it's so great to see that in working.
yeah. Yeah, but I
Oh,
also remember when we first started talking, we were initially looking at like moving you to a completely different platform, getting you set up on like another course hosting and another CRM. But then we kind of took a step back. We're like, okay, look, let's just take kind of what we're working with right now. And you're like, the biggest pain is just kind of generating these docs and then getting things emailed out. So we took that step back and just looked at again, okay, what can we do to take that pressure off right now? And yeah, just some Google Sheets and a bit of scripting later, and yeah, we've got that. We're awesomely kind of got that system going that you can just onboard
I th-
people with Google Sheet
yeah,
templates and everything.
yeah. I think it's a common thing that your first idea is like, oh, we need to probably move platform to a more professional platform, and we have to pay more, and we have to do it this way that all the big professionals are doing it. And that was kind of like the direction we're going first because of me, because I thought, oh, that's probably the way to go. But then actually looking at, okay, what is the actual features that I really need? And then we just pinpointed those features together, and we realized, okay, this is something that we can
Mm.
just do with Google Docs instead. And it's going to be faster, it's going to be cheaper, more effective than for me to having to go to a new platform and
Yeah,
completely upload all of the new stuff, all of the stuff that I have already into this new platform and set up everything. That would have been a lot of work.
yeah,
And
yeah,
now we still have things that you will never get normally, like these email reminders that we created based on their payment plan, and all these custom things that I asked for. Like I wanted them to get reminders every week of their progress in the program, so I don't have to message them, say, hey guys, where are you at in the program? Like, how's it going? Are you finished with this or finished with that? Like, I've just there's an email being sent out automatically that does that. There's an email sent out when they join the program, so they have to fill in different things. Like
mm,
all of these micro tasks that I have to always do to message them and ask them to do different things, it's now done automatically. It's just mind blowing. It's great.
yeah. It was. I also really enjoyed when we started going off from that original discussion a bit by looking at the email reminders and payment reminders and things like that. Like I really enjoyed also the fact that we went in that direction because it was okay, cool. Now we're thinking of all these other things we can add as we kind of solve some of those initial problems.
Yeah, yeah, it's good to just because you know how it is. Like once you start working on something, you come up with more ideas and you just kind
Mm,
of grow it and grow it. And I'm happy that it was easy to do that with you, that you were very flexible and I could just kind of come with new ideas and new requests, and you were flexible enough to just say, yeah, we can put that in there, we can do this, we can do this. And then it was done within a day or two, and it was like working and everything was great.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
really like that kind of creative flexibility that you have in your
Mm.
work.
No, I appreciate that. And I mean, also, I love the fact that you got these trippy backgrounds in Zoom. It's the best thing. People probably like, where can I get one of those? Um, but yeah, I mean, I also really enjoyed playing around with those ideas. And also, as things came up, we were just kind of saying, okay, how much time do you think this is going to take? And balancing almost, is it worth doing it? So I guess you also have to go in those discussions a little bit, but I really enjoyed it from my side as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you did a really good job, man. I'm really happy that I found you on the forum and that you could do all of this stuff. I didn't even know it was possible. I was kind of losing hope. I thought I had to merge over to a new platform and use an already made
Mhm.
system and just put in my stuff in there. I didn't know it was possible to customize Google Docs and using these methods that we use. I had no idea. And so without your knowledge, I would have probably be still being frustrated now and trying to get things to work and not happy about how things were. So I'm really happy that I managed to find you so you could
Yeah.
do this for me.
No, I mean, just hearing that makes me, that's what I enjoy about this, is giving you that time back to, like we were saying earlier, to just focus on what you enjoy, as opposed to like these very important things, but it's essentially just admins, like things you feel this really can just be done by a machine or a robot or something like that. Like there's no need for me to be manually doing this every single time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been a really fun project, and pretty much on that note, we can kind of tie things up. We were saying, it was just really fun working on this together. I'm really glad that I managed to come up with this solution that gave you that time back, and we came to it together by first going off on a slightly different path,
Mm.
by choosing kind of think about going to another platform, and then we kind of came back to, okay, what are we working with right now? How can we improve that? Is there a way to improve that? And going from there, instead of making it such a big shift. And that's often the approach I like to take, is try not to do such a big migration if we don't have to.
Yeah, I think it's clever to just look at the actual things that you need and not like getting lost in the jungle of fancy tools and just go
Yeah.
with, okay, what is it exactly that you need, and then just do that. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, but on that note, again, I really appreciate the time. I appreciate the working together, and it was a lot of fun.
Likewise, thank you.
Cool, cool.